All right, I'm going to let y'all get into the room again just for a second. I apologize for the internet dropping. Hopefully we don't have this problem later. But it kind of happens quite often is with everything going on, so I do apologize. But I'm going to go ahead and finish getting into Cancer as y'all come in. Hi, Jeannie. I'm glad you found your way back in. I'm going to go ahead, though, and get on with the Cancers. I know that it dropped us right in the middle, and I do apologize for that. But the internet just dropped, so I kind of had to start over. So, but basically what we were talking about, just can be sometimes misconstrued for being oversensitive and insecure, but it is, hey, Darlene, I'm glad you found your way back. Thank you. And the reason that can be too with them being oversensitive, like I said, and insecure is because, again, they spend a lot of time with themselves in a hermit mode. Okay, good. I'm glad you made it back, boo. And so, like I said, and so when they do that, it's much, again, like I said, like Virgo, Gemini, Leo, a lot of these signs self-introspect a lot. And so most of the time, again, they don't want to be called out for things that need to be corrected on their own part because they already know. They are very self-aware of their flaws and what is wrong and what's not. So let me just make sure that everybody found their way back. One second. Yeah, we're still on Cancer. So since they are ruled by water, their moods are very changeable. So I hope Jay can find her way back too, because I know she likes this information. But Cancer is also basically the mirror of the zodiac too. Like a lot of times, if they're doing something they shouldn't be doing, they'll kind of like that mirroring or projecting. They'll kind of like, if they're doing something they're not supposed to be doing, they'll kind of start pointing the finger at other people, and it's kind of like it's really them doing it, and it's like it's a way to make them not feel so bad. So that's something that they tend to do, like I said. But again, it's just it's not. It's how you look at the person. It's not a good thing to project your problems on other people, but they kind of they just don't. They don't want to, like I said, they don't want to introspect on their own problems. They'd rather not. Like I said, they feel like they already know enough about their own problems, and they don't want to be told about it, and they don't want to be talked to about it. Hey, Jay, I'm glad you found your way back. Like I said, I'm sorry about that, y'all. My internet dropped, so I had to completely start a whole new chat. And that, if it happens again, then I apologize. So I'm going to try to get through the signs with as much information as possible, but I just don't want it to keep dropping out on y'all. So, let's see. What's next with the Cancers? They're very slow to trust, and they are very unforgiving. So that is another thing. Like I said before, I have known a Cancer, and they can be years before they decide to forgive you, or they won't at all. But they definitely won't speak to you. They will act like they don't even see you, and they will look right through you. And that is a Cancer when they're upset with you. Yes. Like I said, that is a Cancer. And they do have mood swings, but again, they're water signs. So I mean, and I'm not saying like, oh, it's okay for a water sign to have a mood swing, but and especially a Cancer, they're the most mildest of the mood swings of all. Like their mood swing is like, leave me the F alone. Like I mean, like that's their mood swing. So that's what I'm saying. It's nothing compared to the other water signs at all. So that's what I'm saying. When they're really upset, most of the time, Cancers will go off to themselves and don't want to be bothered, and they won't even talk to you. Whereas the other ones won't leave you alone. They won't get out of your face, and they want answers, and they want this, and they want that. And like that's the aggressive part of them, of the water signs, when they're in their dark side. So now, so they are slow to trust, and that is because they are very cautious, and they are very self-aware of what's going on around them and themselves. They are very intuitive. They just don't a lot of the times talk about it as much as the other signs do. I think it takes them a while to accept that that's what it is about them, that they are intuitive. I think sometimes they just think it's a coincidence that they know these things and they don't realize how often it happens. So, and actually they're very, very strong people. Very strong. I've known a Cancer, and like I said, I think I've only seen the Cancer probably have a hard time with anything out of 30 years in my life twice. And I mean, it was major stuff to where, yeah, like that would make you upset. You know what I mean? And even at that, I was shocked at how well they handled it. And now behind closed doors, or, you know, in their bedroom, or if they were in the shower, you know, I don't know how they thought about it or what but they are very strong individuals, very, very strong emotionally. They're very loyal and they expect it back. Like I said, and that is why they're saying when they feel betrayed, they will leave and they will stay away for a very, very long time. And they actually don't even want to see that person. They don't want nothing to do with that person. So they do hold grudges a lot of times, but that is also a trait that they share with their fellow sign Scorpio. Scorpios and Cancers hold grudges. And the reason is a lot of the times it's because their emotions get to a level to where whether they acted wrong or right, they don't feel the need to explain their behavior. So they kind of feel like you pissed me off, so I'm just not gonna like you, and there's nothing you can do about it. You know what I mean? Like, I don't care what you have to say. Like I said, it's like they don't. Like I said, when they get to that point, that's kind of where that's when it's getting into the dark side. Because most of them that are in the lighter side, they will sit down with you and have a conversation. I know a Scorpio who will sit down and have a conversation with you. Now I know another Scorpio who can't do that at all. Like, they just freak out right away and like just start dropping F words and all this kind of other stuff. Yeah, and my dad's a Cancer. That's who I was speaking of. My dad's a Cancer and my mom's a Scorpio. So again, my dad is very quiet. He's played in bands. He loves art. But again, like I said, when he's done with somebody, he's done. And like I said, and he is much a homebody like me. Now, my mom and my sister are more alike in the sense of how they like to go out, as far as like going out for the day and doing things. It's like, and there's Scorpio and Sagittarius. So, and I'm a Virgo and he's a Cancer. So, I mean, and then my son's a Virgo. My other son's a Scorpio, like my mom. Their birthday is exactly the same dates, actually. And then my moon sign is Aries and Connor's dad is an Aries. So it kind of works out in my household. Oh, and my cat's a Gemini. So, oh, you're not late. I was supposed to do it at 2, but I ran behind doing some readings and stuff, but it was just readings I was doing not for fun, but stuff I was interested in. So, yes, very much homebody. My dad does not like to leave the home. Like, even, like, he barely likes to go to the corner store. Like he, you know, like, I mean, even that's like, damn, I got to go to the corner store. You know what I mean? Like, he just doesn't like to, you know, and honestly, I don't either. You know, I said, I'm a Virgo. I'm a homebody. I like to be home. I like to be in my safe space. I like to be in my bed. That's where I'm comfortable, you know, or not even my bed, but my room. I like to be in my space, you know, because like I said, it makes me feel comfortable and protected. Yeah. And that's very much an earth sign trait, Jay, is to be home and be protected. Yeah. And like I said, and that could go on their moon signs and their rising signs, Lisa, too. Because like I said, my Virgo rising and Virgo sun said that that technically I should never get upset about anything or raise my voice about anything. But my Aries moon says, fuck that. I'm going to say what I want. So, if I get pissed off enough, like I said, then my Virgos just get totally out overdriven by my Aries moon, because that is your personality. You know, how you handle things when people treat you a certain way. So for a while, my Virgo rising and sun will take it and take it and take it, much like a Cancer's will. But when something happens, it's like they've had enough. So, again, they are very ambitious. Cancers, much like Capricorns, Jay, just like you. They're very ambitious and they're very driven to their work. They work very hard too, and they're very proud of their work. Like I said, so again, they're not going to speak about something they don't know anything about. So, oh really, Diary? That's cool. I didn't know that. But then they have a hard time relaxing, both Capricorns and Cancers. Now we are talking about Cancers, but they are the opposite sign. So both of them can have a hard time relaxing. But again, for a Capricorn, that is a normal trait for earth signs. They have a hard time relaxing because they have a hard time shutting their brain off. Because very much like Shanann was a Capricorn, Shanann was always planning. Like, what was the next move, that she could make to help improve herself, her business, her family, whatever. So that's kind of what they're saying about Capricorns and how they're driven and things like that. Or not Capricorns, I'm sorry. Well, Capricorns too. But Cancer and Capricorns, that's why they go together. That's why they're the opposites of each other. They both carry that. And they actually have very good steady incomes. Cancers do. Much like Capricorns. They all have very good steady incomes. Again, they stick with the field pretty much that they started with. It's not that they haven't done other things in their life, but most of the time they'll come to a point in their life where they'll get into a certain career and they'll stay there, and they don't leave until they retire. And yes, like Jay, like I said, I know you do the medical stuff, like I said, but I don't know how long you've been doing it, and but I feel very much like it's something that that you are going to hold on to tight for a very long time, and you're very proud of it. You worked hard for it, right? So you're not going to let nobody take that shit from you. You know what I mean? Or make it sound like you don't know what you're doing, because you know damn well what you're doing. You know what I mean? You're a Capricorn. You know what I mean? Like, Capricorns are facts. So, and like I said, I know we're talking about Cancers, but again, Capricorn and Cancers are the opposites of each other. So I know that would make it sound like, oh, well, that's, yep. But no, they carry the same pretty much. So, but that's why they y'all would get along the best out of all the signs too. So, let's see what else about Cancers. They are very protective and nurturing. That's why they're also known as the mother of the zodiac. So again, they will defend people steadfastly. They will not hesitate to defend their family members or anybody that they know has been done wrong. They won't put up with it at all. So they're very caring, gentle, generous, but only to a fault. Again, once they feel that they have been taken advantage of, they will not put up with it anymore. They're extremely nurturing. Like I said, again, my father's a Cancer, but he's very nurturing, very, very nurturing. Even if I come by just to stop by and say hello, it's always like, well, do you need anything? Can I help? He's very nurturing, very nurturing. But yeah, basically Cancer's gone right. I mean, they're really easy people to get along with. I mean, those are one of the few signs that can pretty much get along with everybody. So, again, they love to keep learning. They love to read. Like, they have stacks and stacks of books. Most of the time, libraries, along with libraries of music. Now, I'm sure there's probably a different term for that. But again, my dad is very into art, books, and music. And he has extensive libraries of them. So, a Cancer's motto gone right would be mi casa es su casa. So basically, as long as you do me right, then what's mine is yours. But when I find out you don't do me right, they're gonna kick your ass out their casa. So they are creative, which it goes with their artwork and their music. They are very nurturing, which goes with how they treat their children and their family. They're warm, giving, and loving. And they take care of the people around them properly. And they make sure that if they give them advice, it's going to be good, sound, solid advice. So, again, they are sensitive and intuitive. They are also very brilliant, and they can be fun to hang around with. Like I said, they like art. They like music. I said they're very open-minded to any type of discussion. They're not argumentative during a discussion. Like I said, they'll listen to your side and then give you their side. They are empathic and creative. And love, they are ensuring to their loved ones that they will feel safe and adored by them. and they generally make wonderful partners and excellent partners to their spouses, and wonderful parents also, again, because they represent the mother, excuse me, the hiccups of the zodiac. So when they do go wrong, though, they can be very self-protective, and they don't allow new relationships then to blossom. Now, I don't really think that's bad, because if they're going through a point where they're not sure of certain things, it's okay to step back and protect yourself. But they're saying if they're being overly protective of something that might be going on, then it might put a halt to a relationship blossoming for them that might need to. So they don't like rejection is what it is. So that's what I'm saying. That's a lot of times why they don't go into new relationships. They don't like rejection. Like a lot of Cancers will be artists and musicians, and they'll do it like small town stuff, but a lot of times they won't go big as far as they could, because I think they just don't want to be turned down. Let's see what else I find about Cancers. And then we'll be moving on to Libras as the air sign. Cancers get drained of energy very easily, so they do need to build up their energy. They do need to nap, kind of like all water signs, because their emotions are constantly flowing. So it is good for them to nap and take breaks, because their brain is constantly flowing with emotion. Exercise and meditation is good for that. Again, going outside and grounding is good for that as well. So we have next, we got Libra. So we're going to be on our third sign now. This is going to be our air sign. So we are going to be starting on Libra. Does anybody have any questions about Cancer or Gemini so far? Right? I love a nap. I have to shut my brain off. My Virgo on Virgo is just like spinning. Hi, Mom. How are you? My mommy's here. Sarah's my mom. Yes, we're doing Libra next. So Libra is going to represent the scales, which is balance, which also represents justice within the legal system. So a lot of times when you see those cards, they are going to represent, they can represent documentations being sent to you from the courts. They can represent legal documentation or just documents, period. But either way, if you notice with the Justice card, I think I took it out for y'all. This is Justice card. This is Libra. That's what I'm saying. So this is basically what their karma is. See these two scales? It's to balance them out and keep them straight. And the reason why is because, again, they can tend to be people pleasers. They don't want to fight. Now, that's why I don't like the word about people pleasers too much. I know people use that word a lot in a negative way, but people pleasers aren't always negative. People pleasers just don't want confrontation. It's not that they can't handle it, or they don't, or they're lying, or they're making they just don't like confrontation. That's all. So that's kind of how Libra is. They don't like confrontation, so they'll do the best to stay out of it. Yeah, I'm good, Mama. Thank you. Everything's good. All right, well, you made it just in time, man. We're on you right now. So this is going to be for Libra. Again, this is going to represent balance. I think I just set it down. I don't know why. But like I said, it is the scales. Here it is right here. So this is going to represent Libra. This is your card. So it is an air sign. And it's the opposite of Aries. So the sign you would get along with the best is Aries. So you are the seventh sign in the seventh house of the zodiac. And you are ruled by Venus, which is the planet of love, basically. So that is why they are very family oriented. When they're younger, they kind of like to play a little bit, mainly the males. I don't know about the females. The females I know like to play too. But the males seem to settle down a lot sooner than what the females do. But again, you got 12 signs in your chart. So you kind of have to take those into consideration too. But I am going to say that I did notice that Libras, when they're a bit younger, they do like to kind of stray and flirt and things like that. But they're social butterflies, so I don't even know if half the time they know that they're flirting. You know what I mean? I think, like even me, like I've been even told, like, oh well, like, sometimes you sound flirtatious. I just, I don't notice it. You know what I mean? To me, it's just being polite and playful and nice. But I guess to some people, it comes off flirty. I don't know. But when they've gone right, though, they are very refined individuals. They're very civilized and they are very diplomatic. So and they are very graceful too. They're the most graceful of all the signs because they are the ones who can sit back and be the mediators and sit in between and say, I can see your side and I can see your side. Why don't we come to a meeting? That is why they are known for justice. That is why they are known for the court of law, because they are there to help be mediators, balance out fairness, things like that. That is why Libra is known as the justice card. So they're very charming. People admire them very much. They kind of want their lives a lot of the time. They don't understand what they're doing, that they're not doing. And because, like I said, they have very, very good careers, homes, family lives, things like that. So a lot of times Libras will get a lot of jealousy, to be honest, from people who aren't putting in the time and work to get that for themselves. So again, they are natural mediators. Again, that is why they are used for the court of law and diplomatic, but they also bring peace to situations and that really, really, really need to be intervened in. So that's most of the time when a Libra will step in or show up. So when something is being very unjustified is usually when a Libra will show up. So basically you are the bridge, a Libra. You're the bridge between someone else or a situation. You're the bridge between two other people who can't get along or two situations that cannot understand each other. Libras are there to help build that bridge to make each other understand. So, let's see. You like peace. You like balance. They all do. They like peace and balance. That's the point of the scales. And the point of being the mediator. They don't want to be in the middle of arguments. They don't like it. As I said, they are very family oriented. So, like I said, if you mess with their family, they're going to let you know they don't fucking like it. So, you're very good at the compromising skills, again, because that goes with your being able to negotiate. And you're actually very persuasive, too. Libras are very persuasive. So, like most of the time, most of them can be salesmen or women, and they're very, very good at it. That's just some. But they're very persuasive. So that's why they do good in those jobs. And they are a pleasure to be around. They are very fun. I have to say that about Libras. I've known a Libra for 18 years, I think now. And they are fun. Like I said, they're funny. They're intelligent. They're quick-witted. Again, they can have a conversation with you. And it makes a lot of sense. And then if you want to give your perspective, they're more than happy to listen to your perspective. So they're not going to sit there and bash you for your thoughts. How some other signs will sit there and keep pushing and pushing and pushing their thoughts on you, and they don't want you to think that. They won't do that to you. So basically partnerships and unions above like all romantic and friendship, bias, and work and things like that, those are all paramount and importance to Libras. Relationships are what make them tick because they rule the 6th house. The 6th house rules family. So that is another karma that's going to be with Libras. You are in the 6th house for family. So I don't want to say that you'll have family problems, but you will struggle at times with things within the home because that is part of your karma coming into the world as a Libra to balance those any issues out. But because you are born into the 6th house, that is a family house. So you're basically brilliant at being able to strategize a situation from all areas. So if you were a Libra were to be presented with a problem, they'll have numerous solutions to that problem. So they're very good at doing that. That is also a fellow earth sign trait. Those are something that they do together very well. And Leos do that too very well. I'm not saying other signs don't do that, but the ones that I've noticed the most, again, from what I know from their charts, other than their moons and things, they're very, very good at strategizing numerous ways to make a plan work. So, again, Libra is ruled by Venus. So it is strongly associated with love, beauty, and pleasure, as well as art and culture. So usually people who are Libras are very beautiful. They're very cultured. They like to go out to eat and have fine foods. They're very, like I said, again, they're very beautiful and they like to just have a great time. You know, I mean, that to them is their ultimate enjoyment. Yeah, but as far as Anne, I don't know if that's true for you with Anne. Like, I know the Libra that I knew, they loved going out to have a nice dinner and enjoy their food, you know, and that was what was fun to them. Saving up and indulging on something for themselves that they want. Hi, Anna, how are you? Saving up on things and saving their money to go ahead and purchase something that they really, really wanted, and then, you know what I mean? It's that's kind of what it is with Libras, you know, kind of to yeah, they just like to they're not as impulsive as some of the other signs. They're not. They're just not going to be. So and actually Libras are the greatest romantics of the zodiac, to be honest, again, because you fall under the sixth house. So that is why you're so well known for your beauty, your love, and loving your family. And you are also known to be fabulously seductive. You actually have a lot of your neighboring sign Virgo, because the sign right next to you is Virgo. You have a lot of Virgo traits too in your chart, and that helps with your quickness and your thoughts. Because Virgo is ruled by Mercury, which helps them rule their thought process and how they think of things and how they respond, how quick-witted they are, things like that. So the fact that you are already intelligent with the swords by being a Gemini, an Aquarius, or a Libra, not only do you have that, you still have the residual coming from Virgo. So like the person I know is a Virgo Libra cusp. And I mean, you talk about never ever, I mean, you ain't ever going to get them pinned up against the wall ever. Like I said, they will make sure that they will make a fool out of you if you try to make a fool out of them, and I guarantee you they will. And I've watched it happen for over 15 years. Like anytime anybody has tried to screw this person over, their Virgo cusp and their Virgo and Libra cusp kick in, and it is like some shit I ain't never seen before, to be completely honest. So those put together are right. And that's what it is. And they like to save up their money to have a nice dinner, nice trips, nice homes, nice cars. And it's not like a materialistic thing. It's that they take pride in what they do. So that's kind of how that is. So they know how to make people feel not only physically pleasured, but emotionally pleasured. So Libras are very good at that. You usually don't leave a conversation with the Libra feeling bad. So thank you. So they're, like I said, again, they're off because they're ruled by Venus. They're ruled by the planet of beauty. So they are, like I said, they're very beautiful. Hi, Rose Marie. How are you? But they are very beautiful. All of them most of the time. They're very aesthetically pleasing to the eye. So most of the time they have very eye-catching Thank you, Anna. I greatly appreciate that. And thank you for donating to the channel. But like I was saying, yeah, they're very aesthetically pleasing to the eye. They're very gorgeous. And like I said, again, they're very graceful. They're very, they walk with confidence, much like Capricorn. Bridget Bardot was a Libra, for example. So if anybody knows who Bridget Bardot is, or if you don't know who she is, if you were to look her up, that would be the perfect example of a Libra. And kind of how she was a French actress, actually. She was also a singer and an animal rights activist. So she did very many things. So not only are Libras beautiful, smart, and get along with everybody, they also are very multi-talented. Hi, Angela. Yes, and hello to all the new people tuning in. Thank you very much. I greatly appreciate it. I'm sorry that it cut the class in half. My internet dropped, but like I said, we are on Libra right now, so we have 3 more. Well, once we finish Libra, we got 3 more signs to go. So we're almost done with Libra. But again, like I said, if you look up Bridget Bardot, she is basically we did Capricorn's last class. I'll add it to this one. Once it uploads it, I'll add it to the playlist for the classes, and then that'll show you the pre-planning and the past life planning that we did. And then we did earth signs and what was the other one? Fire signs last week. So this week we're doing water and air, and then next week we're doing tarot. So but that video is already uploaded, Anna. So that is going that'll whenever this video uploads, I'll add it to the class playlist. And it's got like a flower, I want to say, or a tree on it. It's got like 2 videos on it so far, and this will be the 3rd that I'll be adding to it. Well, 4, because we had it split in half by the internet on accident. But again, I want to get back to how very seductive and beautiful that Libras can be. Now, when a Libra has gone wrong, and they continue to stay in the dark, into the gone wrong side, they can be shallow and vain at times and kind of feel like that they're right, and they really just don't want to hear what you have to say because they are very intelligent and they know their stuff. So, and at other times they don't like to have things to be extravagant, but if people try to throw what they have in their face, then they'll kind of throw it back at them like, what, are you jealous because I have it and you don't? So again, it's not so much... It's kind of almost like if you pick at them enough, then they're going to pick back. Like, that's just kind of how Libras are. And then the reason I know that is, again, because I've known a Libra for over 15 years. And I can tell you, like I said, it's a Libra Virgo cusp. So it's not an argument. It's not something that you really want to get into. But they're even saying that at times that they can be somewhat superficial and vain. But again, that only goes with because people see that they are very proud of what they have, and most of the time the people who are calling them superficial or vain or materialistic are the people who don't want to put in the time to have things that are material, to take the time to get those materialistic things. So and sometimes some Libras can judge books by its cover, not very many, like I said, because they're the ones, they want to know both sides. Libras do not like to pick sides. They don't like it. So they want to know both sides to a story before they go with it. So let's see what else we have here for Libras. They are fair, just, and balanced. So that, again, this is getting back into the lighter side. So they give everybody a chance to speak, and they listen. They truly listen to what the person says instead of just saying, oh, yeah, I'll listen to what you have to say, and it goes in one ear, not the other. So they are fair, and they do give people the chance to be heard. So, and they are constantly moving back and forth between family and friends to try to make people get along. And that becomes stressful for them. So, it's kind of like they're basically the person who has to make all the peace and be the diplomat for the family. So that can kind of wear on them. And that might send them into some of the gone wrong energy because, again, they feel that, they're trying to help and they're possibly being asked more than they should, or they're being, them, trying to be a mediator and helping is not helping. So they decide to step back and leave it alone and say, figure it out for yourself. So that's how you pissed off a Libra most of the time. Like I said, but they bring balance to every approach that they have. Like I said, they do not approach anything without balance. Like I said, if it doesn't go this way, it's going to go this way. And whichever way it goes, they're completely prepared for it. So, and they're constantly learning again. They love to learn. Like I said, and mainly because, I don't want to say they like to say, I told you so, but a little bit, it's kind of like nobody wants their intelligence to be downplayed, correct? So, Libras out of the air signs are going to be the ones who will study and study. And so do Geminis because they are run by Mercury. But Libras, they might not know something about a subject, but if you challenge them on that subject in a day or two, they're going to know everything about that subject. And you ain't going to know what to say. You ain't going to have anything to say back in return because they done hit every point on the head. You know what I mean? So yeah, I wouldn't recommend picking a fight with a Libra, to be honest. And not because like they're going to beat your ass or anything like that. It's because they know their stuff. And like I said, again, they're not going to say something they can't back up. And they're not going to back down in their beliefs either. So again, that's a sign you're going to come across, much like Capricorn, Virgo, Leo. I would say Scorpio, but Scorpio kind of moves back and forth on whoever's around them. So it depends though, like on the person again, and their moon sign and their rising, because I've met some Scorpios who do not budge. They are very family oriented, they are very protective, and they don't play into that passive aggressive stuff like most Scorpios are claimed to do. They don't do that. Yeah, see, Booth, and that's a time where and I'm sorry that happened to you. It's just a lot of times when things like that happen and it seems like it's not for the greatest good, it kind of is. I know it doesn't seem like your husband passing is for the good, but it happens. So now that you saying them people acting that way is showing you that they weren't there for the right reasons, and it's okay to go ahead and get. So that's kind of what I think that is going to, because they were taking advantage and hurting you, and that's not what somebody who truly cares about somebody would do. They would never take advantage of another human being, nor do something to purposely hurt them. So they are very Libras are also charming, very charming. They can be your car salesman because they're very good at. I've known a car salesman who will jump inside of the trunk of the car and say how big the trunk of the car is. Look, you can fit me inside of it. And he's actually sold many cars doing that, which I always thought that was funny because I'm like, he told me about it and I laughed. He was like, yeah, I jumped in the trunk of a car. I was like, see, you could fit a body in here. And I laughed about it. I was like, you didn't say that to them, did you really? And he was like, no, I did. And I was like, he was like, well, they bought the car. And then he did it like a couple more times and he sold cars about stuff like that. So I'm saying he's charming. Like it's charming and it's graceful in a way. It's funny. It's witty. It's funny. It's charming. You know what I mean? So it's like there's something about them. It's they're very quiet but powerful when you see them. They are peaceful warriors too, and they are very generous. They are very generous, Libras. They will give and give and give until they really have nothing left to give, and that is kind of what can also send them into that gone wrong zone that they say that they have. Now, when they're in the right and they're peaceful warriors, they will fight against injustice, anything that they feel is not fair, and they're going to champion for what is fair. Like I said, and they're not going to sacrifice their sense of peace whatsoever for whatever is going on around them. They won't do it. They will retract themselves out of the situation before that happens. Jimmy Carter was also a Libra, so if you would kind of like to look up him, or you can just look up celebrity Libras or heavy influences of Libras, and that will kind of give you a rundown of men and women and what they did through their lives. So they could, like I said, again, they like to learn. They're very good at their careers. They're very career focused. Actually, the Libra I know, I don't think he leaves his job ever. It seems like he lives there. But they do need peace and balance to function properly. If they don't have peace and balance, they can't function properly. And I mean, it's pretty much, I would think, any human being, but again, they have to have peace or balance or they can't function. So does anybody have questions about the Cancers before we move on to the Pisces? Yes, and I am very sorry, Boo, to hear that. But hopefully you being here with us and kind of, being able to chat with us will help a bit for you. So. I shall give her condolences. I'll give y'all just a second to see whenever y'all are ready to move on. Yeah, I was left kind of like that too. I had a stepson with him, and then my son and I was kind of literally left overnight, and I just found out my son was autistic like 3 months before that. So it was a lot at once. But again, it did make me stronger, and he did cheat with his secretary as well. That's who he's married to now. And not to put anybody's business out there, but I'm just saying it sucks at the time, and I know what the lupus isn't helping at all. But oh, your next HB? Don't worry. You're not the dark side. Trust me. When I get to the dark side, you'll know who we're talking about. So, all right, so we're going to go ahead and start on Pisces then. We have Pisces and then Scorpio and Aquarius left, and I think that's it. Hold on, I just want to find Aquarius real quick because he disappeared on me. Oh, there he is. Okay. So let's get back to Pisces. Sorry, y'all. I moved the page. Here we are. So this is going to be Pisces. So this is good. You're basically saying is going to be the vision. Because again, Pisces is all 12 zodiac signs rolled into one. So therefore, technically, you have already been on planet Earth at least 12 times, and you've already experienced all these signs at least 12 times. So that is why they say that Pisces is one of the more out-of-the-box ones, because they're like all the signs rolled up into one. So, but it is a water sign. It's the opposite of Virgo, which would be me. So it is the 12th sign of the zodiac, which makes it the 12th house, and it is ruled by Neptune. So Pisces folk, y'all have a great gift for perceiving things that most people don't notice or that are hidden. And they are dreamers. They a lot of times will see the bigger picture of things and make it into reality if they choose to do so. But they can be very cool people to get along with. Now, Albert Einstein was a Pisces. So that's an example as a Pisces. He seemed very out of the box and people didn't really understand him a lot. But he was very intelligent. He knew a lot of things. He was very well educated in every area of his department or every area that he worked in and studied. So, let's see. He didn't like formality, which most Pisces do not. And he felt that the system was very rigid. Again, because Pisces do not like to conform. That is why when you look at the Pisces card, which I think I brought out. Probably didn't. Here it is. It's in reverse. They're hanging upside down because above the world with coins hanging out because they're kind of a little bit doing something different than when you look at it this way, they're upright. So they're conforming to society. So they're kind of like doing what everybody else is doing, but they don't want to do what everybody else is doing. So that's why this is their normal position. They like to do their own things. They're very creative. And they like art a lot too as well. So like I said, in that, being Albert Einstein, he envisioned a lot of stuff. Obviously, he's a legend. So that is basically the best person that I can think of to show you what Albert Einstein is like. Yeah, but I've already done Leo. Everything's in a playlist. I did Leo last week. You're in the parking lot, Jaws? No, like I said, I did fire signs and earth signs last week. So if you go to the playlist that has 2 on it right now that says pre-life planning, past life planning, elements, and tarot card reading, that is where you're going to find the videos y'all are looking for. So they are done though. Oh, you're hiding? Okay. But let's see. So obviously his theories were out of the box, but he was right, and a lot of things that he did. Again, he didn't want to conform. He didn't like that. And the typical Pisces is they always kind of have a restricted feeling. They feel as if they are kind of being pushed to behave like others, but they don't want to. So therefore they will kind of disconnect sometimes to create their own inner creativity and kind of their own world so that they're happy about that. Einstein loved music as well, which Pisces love music. That they are very good, much like the water signs. Water signs and earth signs love music. Now I know fire signs like music and air signs like music, but for sure earth signs and water signs will listen to music. They'll listen to the same songs over and over again sometimes. Just because it's something about it. I don't know if it's the beat or if it's the what, but they will listen to it over and over again. But when they feel disconnected from their inner strength and they feel restricted, then they lose all their creativity. So that's why you don't want that to happen. You want to take that time to take a break, pull yourself back so you don't lose that inner creativity that Pisces naturally possess. So, people that also have very, very much prominent Pisces in their chart is going to be Kurt Cobain, Nat King Cole, Johnny Cash, Aretha Franklin, and Anne Green. And that's just a few people. So, yeah, and another thing about Albert Einstein, it's like he was always wanting, it's like, I don't know if he actually, how many relationships he had or if he even did. But I do notice that a lot when I read stuff about him, he was always pining for a relationship of some sort. And if he couldn't have that relationship, it was like another relationship that he was kind of pining over. So it's kind of like they just don't like to be lonely, to be honest, because they have a lot of thoughts going on in their head, being that they're intuitive. So having somebody else to bounce their ideas off of helps them a lot. So, okay. I just want to make sure everything's okay. Actually, Michelangelo is another famous Pisces zodiac sign. So he is obviously Michelangelo is a true artist and genius, and he was for a very long time, still is. So if you've ever seen a lot of his artwork, it's very inspiring. You can't help but stare at it. It's a whole nother level. It's that level that most of us spiritually want to get to, and that is because, again, Pisces I didn't get to read everything, Jaws, but I'm sorry if something's going on. I'm sorry to hear that. But I agree, when someone's manipulating you, and it's very hard. So I'm sorry that you're going through that. And I will, like I said, once we're done with this, if y'all want to chat a little bit more, we're almost done. We have we're on Pisces now, then Aquarius, and then we can kind of chat and just the end if y'all like. But he was the one also that did the awe-inspiring fresco on the ceiling of the Sistine Chapel in the Vatican, which is obviously beautiful. People go there all the time to see it. Now, of course, he had other painters help him, but that was basically he is the one that drew the whole thing out. Basically, he had help, but he was the one that brought it all together. So now, when Pisces have gone wrong, they have known to be very flaky. Now, Pisces really walk the middle ground. You are either the most reliable and committed people, or simply the most flaky. In the sense that when Pisces get upset with somebody, and like I said, they will not tell them. They will go tell everybody but them. And then when they do talk to that person, a lot of times, they still won't tell them. They'll make it seem like everything's okay, but then they'll go tell somebody else how much they're getting on their nerves. But that's gone wrong. Like I said, if that's not a Pisces who can speak up for themselves and say, hey, this is kind of bothering me, can we talk about it? This is someone who doesn't want to get their hands dirty, so they leave it for other people to do it for them. So that is why they are considered flaky, because they will talk to you one day and literally the next day will have nothing to do with you. So, and they will give you absolutely no explanation as to why. So, and a lot of times they can be very non-committal, slippery, and their morals are very shifty. It shifts on it depends on who they're talking to. Their morals change for everybody, and again, that's because they have all 12 zodiac signs. So they're able to put themselves in everybody's zodiac sign and go, well, this person's right, except when it doesn't fit their story. So that's why they can be considered flaky and kind of aggressive. So Pisces people need to learn how to put down clearer boundaries, because they don't. A lot of times they don't have boundaries, and they're very inconsistent when they're in the dark side. And actually, they can be so inconsistent, they can end up actually hurting themselves and others by their behavior, because they can end up going to the wrong vices to get help, or the wrong people. So that's how they can put themselves in danger when they're on the gone wrong side. Yes, thank you all for being here. I greatly appreciate it. Yeah, I'm sorry about that, Jaws. We'll be going live a little bit later. Like I said, if not, my email's in my about section if you would like to email me, Jaws, and we can talk about that too. You're not stuck. You're never stuck. Trust me. It feels that way, but you're never stuck. Like I said, God will never put you in a situation that's going to be worse than what you're coming out of. Promise. So, but Pisces need to put down more clear boundaries. They need to be more consistent in their behavior, and they need to not be so harmful to the people around them, because they are very manipulative and they will play with people's minds when they feel like they have not been done fairly. Instead of just saying that I shouldn't have said that or I shouldn't have done that, which they expect everybody else to do to them. I've never met, the Pisces I've happened to run into, they've never apologized or accepted something that they've done when they've done something wrong. It's always like something that somebody else has done to make them do it. So therefore, that's the gone wrong side. That, in this, and to me, that's kind of more like a child's answer as to why to misbehave. But I mean, again, it's how you look at it. But that is the gone wrong side, not the gone right side. So, we also have that they can be overly strong-willed. They can be very pushy and controlling in their dark side. They're saying that they try to have a realistic approach to things, but sometimes they might take it a little bit further. And this is still the gone wrong side. We still have a whole gone right side. So I don't want anybody who's a Pisces in here to feel like, because believe me, I said all the negative things about my sign last week. So, but they strive for structure. Pisces do, and they need firm boundaries for themselves, and that's what helps them thrive. As I said, so that's how they learn to prioritize, and that's how they learn to not to overcommit themselves so that they don't get overwhelmed. So that's what makes them happy, is to have organization, respect, and prioritize things. And I know that goes like organization, but that kind of is two different things. Organization and prioritize might be prioritizing my job, but organizing my house. So I'm saying there's very many different things like that they do. They do like to keep in order. So the best thing you can do for your time to make sure that you balance all the things that you do focus on is to an alarm, and that way you know how much time to focus on that individual subject, because sometimes Pisces can get wrapped up for days or hours or even sometimes weeks in the same subject, and much kind of like some earth signs do, and some fire signs, but you don't want to do that, because then you're just kind of stuck there stagnant. So it's basically saying, I'm sorry, I burped. It's basically saying that that as long as you prioritize and make these boundaries and make this list and kind of keep things in order for you the best that you can, that is going to be how you thrive the absolute best. You're very, 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 very strong-willed. So, again, you're going to be Pisces is going to be one of those people, if somebody says you can't do that, they're going to do it. Because, like I said, they don't want to hear what they can't do. And they're definitely not going to listen to somebody else tell them what they can't do. So they're going to show them what they can do. So, and of course, I just accidentally dropped the page. 1 second. All right. So yeah. Pisces, not only kids, but adults, will a lot of times kind of go off into a fantasy world, if you ever notice, especially if you're talking to them. They'll kind of like zone out, and then you notice that in their eyes, they're not really paying attention anymore, kind of too much. So that's just kind of something they do, but it's not because they're trying to be rude or ignoring you. It's just because they got a lot of stuff on their mind. Like I said, they're all 12 signs rolled into one. So it's like they're trying to process all this stuff at the same time while they're still trying to think about the things that they're thinking about, So, then they're also saying, as Pisces have a tendency to blame others for their problems when they're in the dark side. And it's saying that they have to stop, that Pisces is something that you have to kind of stop. Like Virgos beat the crap out of themselves mentally for everything that goes wrong in their life. And they're saying Pisces is kind of the opposite. And actually, Virgo and Pisces are the opposite. Virgos beat up themselves. Pisces will take it out on other people. They will blame everybody else for their problems but themselves. They act like they've done nothing wrong. So that's usually how you know when they're in their dark side, because it's always this person did this person did this person did this, and this person did this. They'll never tell you what they did, ever. So that's how you know when they're in their dark side. So adults are more prone to slip into a haze of drug or alcohol if they're not taking care of themselves, or even both. So when these problems arise between these conflicts and these mixing of these alcohol and drugs that some of them do, it can bring about no resolution to being back in the light side that you want to get to as a Pisces. So you have to kind of ignore those callings to kind of just pull yourself out of that for a second, because you can, Pisces, because of like I said, because they're mutable and because they are the 12 signs, it is very easily for them to be manipulated around by the people around them, much like the other mutable signs. So they do have a fierce temper at times. They will explode into furious rages, and they will take it out on other people. And if they don't do it themselves, they will have other people do it for them, so that way they don't look so bad. So that is something that Pisces can do in dark side. Like I said, they kind of feel like they're the boss, and like what they say goes. So if someone doesn't do in their household or in a job setting or a friend setting as they expect them to do, then they are going to make it very clear, because they are governed by Neptune, that they're not happy with them. So whether they'll completely attack them or they'll completely ignore them and start telling people things about them when they're dark-sided. Like I said, but or stay in the dark side, if that's a better way to say it. But there's also the ones you get to are like babies. Like they're not gonna and again, that goes with your rising and your moon. They're not gonna, there's some Pisces I met that are not confrontational at all, and they're not gonna sit there and be vindictive and sit there and think about how they can screw somebody over for days. Like they're gonna just be done with it and let it go, where other Pisces won't always let it go. So when the Pisces go on right, they're very spiritual. They're very much in tune with the spiritual realm. They're very good at it. Like I said, most of them are empaths, psychics, healers, light workers, Reiki therapists, those type of things. They're very intuitive. And like I said, I would have to keep saying psychic. I know people don't like the word psychic, but they are. So they are, like I said, Pisces are very much, I got the Scorpio. Yeah, so Pisces very much, they're mediums, and they can be teachers for that. They go, and the reason for that is because they go between life, God, and the universe. That's why sometimes I say they'll space out. If you ever notice when you're talking to them, they look spaced out, like they're not paying attention, but they're kind of in another place, like mentally, like they're thinking about other stuff. Like I said, it's not that they're not paying attention on purpose. It's just something else has caught their attention. So that's what they're looking at or thinking about. So they are the best healers in the zodiac, and they are the best psychics to a certain extent, depending on what art it is that they work on and how long and hard they work on it. They're not naturally born psychics. You do have to work on it, or any type of gift. Everybody has to work. Everybody has a gift, but you have to work on it to get it to where you want it to be. So, and again, they are known for being very good Reiki masters. So I don't know if that's something as a Pisces, that if anybody is in here that is a Pisces, they are very good Reiki masters. So I don't know if that's something that y'all, as you know, would be interested to looking into for anyone who's a Pisces in here, but they are very good at healing work and being Reiki masters. So they're very good at connecting with nature, because they are Again, the 12 signs rolled up into one, and they represent the fish. You know, a second. They represent the fish, so it's kind of like, and one's going one direction and one's going the other. So that's showing the pool they constantly have going upstream and downstream. They have a very hard time, actually, making decisions and sticking with them. I said, because they are very pooled. Again, they are mutable, so they don't really want to upset anybody. So, like I said, but they are very spiritual, and as long as they remain humble about it. If they're not humble, then they will lose their gift, because they are the only ones who are given natural spiritual gifts. But if they use them for the wrong reason, then they will no longer be able to obtain them. So, as far as connecting with nature for Pisces, you are very in touch with nature, especially sea, because of the water. It is your element. So whenever you are around water, that is your element. So let's see. When you're in love, you are the best devoted lovers. You do all that you can do to make your partner's life easier. And you dedicate yourself to making him or her the most happiest person within the relationship with ease. So you're more worried about it's not that you're more worried about their happy, but as long as they're happy, you're happy. Is kind of how I get that. So, they're very selfless when they're in a relationship, depending on how much you open your heart to them. Like I said, so sometimes some people who get with them can feel like they have been taken advantage of by a Pisces, because they can be so cold. They can talk to you one day and not the next, or they can get upset with you for no reason. You don't even know why. So a lot of times their spouses will not understand what happened, like overnight, that you're so upset with me that you won't tell me. You know what I mean? And a lot of times they'll ignore them for days to weeks at a time and make them like sweat it out before they tell them why they're actually upset with them. So in their careers, they're often drawn to creative industries such as film, fashion, photography, design, music, television, anything where it's going to be aesthetically pleasing. Again, they do like those kind of things. So they're good at pulling solutions to things kind of out of the air. Again, they're a very intelligent sign, but they're very emotional. So if they let their emotions get in the way of their thought process, it can interfere with that. So you just don't want that to happen. So they very frequently miss deadlines. Like they are super, super like you would think earth signs are like on point, like Virgos, Capricorn. I mean, again, Taurus is a slacker, more of the Virgo of the earth signs, so they kind of really don't care if they're on. I mean, they are on time most of the time, but like they're very lighthearted if they're not on time. It's not like oh my gosh, they're like, my bad, I got busy, and then they just kind of like move on to the next thing, you know. But Pisces aren't like that. They don't like it when somebody's late. Like it's like the end of the world. You know what I mean? If you didn't call them back when you said you were, then you're not their friend anymore. If you didn't answer them the way that they wanted, then this is the gone wrong ones. Then, like I said, they don't want nothing to do with you anymore. So it's that kind of stuff that they can do when they're in their dark side and they're having a hard time dealing. The basic fix for a Pisces is to combat the flakiness and buy a diary. They're basically saying to, when you're upset about something, to write it down instead of taking it out on the people around you when you're upset. And don't overcommit yourself to something to where you feel drained and then you feel like you can't do the things you want to do that make you happy. Manage your sensitivity because you do have that. So make sure that you take care of yourself, not only mentally, but physically. That will help you. Embrace ideas and don't take on a victim mentality. Pisces do that a lot whenever they're trying to kind of make a situation seem like they play victim a lot, and they will literally call themselves the victim. So it is saying to not do that, but to act as an independent adult and take responsibilities for your own actions. So the past is gone. the future is what you make it. So the longer that they stay stuck in this mentality that they're a victim, the longer they're going to carry that into the future. So that is just advice for the Pisces. They're saying to indulge in your creativity. So if there's something that you want to build or create, to go ahead and indulge in that you will succeed in it, and that you will build what you want to build. And then they're saying to avoid toxic people and toxic situations, because you are a mutable sign. It is very easy for you to be sucked into those type of people and situations, and you don't want that for yourself. So, and they would like you to make regular trips to water. Again, because the regular trips to water is good for you, just in the sense that you just kind of need it. You know what I'm saying? So you are a water sign. So I have Aquarius next, but I'm pretty sure I did Scorpio. I think I forgot to mark it out. I just want to make sure I didn't skip Scorpio, because we're on Aquarius right now. So that will be the last one if we didn't do Scorpio yet. I don't think we did either. Okay, so we're going to do Scorpio right now and then Aquarius, because I'm already on Scorpio's page. So Scorpio is the power. That is going to be what they are known for. They are known for their power. They are the water sign again, and they're opposite of Taurus, which is the second zodiac sign of the house. So that is why they are the 8th. So they are ruled by Pluto and Mars. Scorpio gone right is extremely intuitive, just like their fellow water signs, Cancer and Pisces. But they are the most instinctual of the signs. So usually they'll, like, if somebody walks in a room and they have no good intentions, they know right away. They'll tell you right away that there's something wrong with that person. And most of the time, 99.9% of the time, the Scorpio is right. There was something not right with that person. And it's like an instinct. Like I said, I've known a Scorpio my whole life, and they just know. They know when somebody comes in what their intentions truly are. They can tell if they're there for good or for bad. So that is their strongest point out of the water signs. They have a very, very serious emotional depths. Now, they are very magnetic, and they are mysterious. So that's what draws people to them very often. So, but it does make them resistible. So again, that's what I'm saying. It draws people to them because it makes them irresistible. They absolutely refuse to be controlled or dominated by anyone in any way, sense, or form, even if that person's really not trying to, and they feel that they are, then they will go ahead and react in a way of, like, to make a point. Like, you're not going to tell me what to do. You know what I mean? That's kind of what Scorpios, how they'll react whenever they feel they're being pushed. They like to dig deep into everybody's life, which is very true. They probe and investigate into people's lives even when they don't need to, just because they feel like it. And I don't know if it's because they just like to say, well, I knew this and I knew that. I'm not really sure. I'm not a Scorpio. But I do know that they do like to pry into other people's lives quite often. And they keep digging and digging and digging until they get to something where they feel as if they got something to get somebody. And all that Scorpio is concerned about is power. That's all they want, is power, most of the time. Like I said, so you are here on planet Earth to learn that you don't have power. The universe does. Source does. So they need to learn to handle that action wisely, because even though they are about power, they cannot make things happen, even though they feel that they can. So a lot of times that can backfire on them. They can be immensely empathetic, but most of the time tell you they will console you, but at the same time tell you kind of why you deserved it, or what you did wrong to get it. You know what I mean? Martin Scorsese was born under the sign of a Scorpio. And, if you look at the film history, you see that he is seriously deep and has an obsession towards making the darker sides of films, life's crimes, mafias, things like that is more what he did a lot of his movies about. But honestly, there is no better example of a Scorpio in action other than the billionaire Bill Gates. He has been criticized for his less than pure business techniques at the start of his career. He did not use pure business techniques, and so he was criticized for that. Now through his foundation, he donated a lot of money, and that was his way of kind of outweighing that, and taking the pressure off of it, But he had even made a statement in his own words that he said that he felt a very overwhelming desire, and this would be a key word of a Scorpio, an overwhelming desire to address some of the rampant inequality. I can't even say it. Inequality. You know what I mean. On the planet. So he's basically saying all these people, not behaving the same, and all the unequalness and all this stuff like that. He wants to be the one to go make it right. So that is what he is saying about his donation, about his charities and his donations. By him doing that he's the one that's making it all right. So that is what they say. And that's how they are saying that they can be arrogant sometimes. Jimi Hendrix was a Scorpio. So that's another example of another version of a Scorpio. Now, Scorpios can also be known to be vindictive, and we're still on the gone wrong side. We haven't got completely to the gone right side, so we will get there too. So, there is no, basically Scorpios, when they're gone wrong, they are known to be vindictive, manipulative, and cruel. So there is no easy way to say that Scorpios gone wrong can be dangerous to yourselves and to others. Your tendency to think of situations as life-threatening means you often take things too personally and way too far. And when you feel threatened, you go on the attack, not just to snipe like a Virgo, but you aim for total destruction. So in reality, the threats are often imagined and wildly exaggerated within the Scorpio's mind. So they're saying basically when Scorpios are on the gone wrong side, they see enemies everywhere that they go. And don't so much destroy them, but they annihilate them. Because they feel that they're going to make a point by doing so. So that is kind of when they go wrong. So the only weapon that they truly have is their sheer ruthlessness and the fact that they have no boundaries. A lot of them, when they're gone wrong, on where, like, they have no boundary line. They will take it to the complete extreme whenever they've done something they should not have done, or they feel, again, that like it says, when they've gone wrong, they have a tendency to think that the whole world's out against them, and they go way, way further than they need to go. So they can be manipulative, controlling, and super, super secretive when they've gone wrong. So make sure, if you know a Scorpio, that you do guard your secrets from them, unless you've known them for a very, very, very long time and you're very good friends. Other than that, they will take anything that you've said or done, and they will manipulate that. Yes, well, we all have both, Lizzie, but I'll get to the light sides too, and then you'll probably see some of that in them too. So, but this is, the way they are known when they're in their darker energy and how they behave. And I said, and then you'll see in the last week's video for the Earth and the air, and the Earth and the fire signs, how it works for them. But again, they're manipulative, they're controlling, and super secretive. So You need to guard your secrets closely when you're around these people because they will probe you and others and grill you and then they will share secrets that they think that will destroy somebody else. So they also will blackmail people quite often, and